I think I picked this up in the recent, whoa, okay, that was unexpected. Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale coming up here at the end of October or early November, depending on what tier of the VIB program you're in. I feel like I just did this video probably because I did when they restructured or updated their VIB rewards program. They had a sale to celebrate, and so I have made videos about this specifically recently, but also just generally before. But because I am a beauty junkie with no self-control whatsoever, I have since tried more products that I would recommend, and Sephora has started carrying new products that I would recommend. So I figured it was worthwhile to make another video here, not only telling you what I would recommend, but also sharing what is in my cart. So let's go ahead and dive in. And also, because like I said, I've created videos on this before, I will link the playlist down below if you want to watch it, because I'm not gonna lie, I love myself a good recommendation video. However, if you want to just get to the good stuff, I will link or list all of the products that I've talked about in previous videos because there are a lot of repeats, and there will in fact be repeats in this video too. But just in case you're curious about those products and you don't want to watch all those videos, I will list those down below too, because some of them are standbys that even though I don't get every time I purchase, I would recommend. I just haven't been in recent videos because I have talked about them at length a lot before. First, let's start off with some of the products that I picked up in the recent sale actually, but I would totally recommend. First of which is the new Laura Mercier loose setting powder. They basically took their original translucent loose setting powder formula and made a glow version, and I have a whole video review dedicated to this, as well as comparing it to the Lancome Absolute powder, which had previously been a favorite, in case you're curious about those similarities or differences. But I would really recommend this. It does have a gold undertone, and so if you don't think that's going to flatter your skin, that's the one thing I think people might not like about this. But as far as setting powders go, I really like it. I tend to steer clear of setting powders altogether just because I find it hard. I have combo skin, but I like a little bit of healthy dewiness to my skin, and it's kind of hard to find a translucent setting powder that walks the line between actually setting my makeup and keeping my combo skin from producing excess oil and making it too flat and matte and dull. And so a setting powder with this kind of glow element to it really does that job well, because it sets it, keeps it in place all day, but it keeps me from getting too shiny, but still keeps that skin nice and glowy looking. So really like that. I think something else I picked up in that recent sale, or maybe I got it at Ulta. Honestly, I think I got it at Ulta. It's no shock I can't remember because, like I said, lack of self-control here, people. But Nude Sticks. Nude Sticks have been around for a while, but only very recently have I tried my first batch of them. It was the Nude Sticks and Melissa Alatorre collaboration. I think that, and I don't have the full set together. I've since kind of taken it apart and put it in travel cases as I've been traveling over the month, but they are so travel friendly. And even if you don't travel, but you just like a good stick product for the convenience, their eye sticks are good, their lip and cheek sticks are good. And if you're looking for a good set that has a little bit of everyday subtle glam that could be amped up to more of a nighttime glam, the Nude Sticks Melissa Alatorre one is one I would totally recommend. Again, I have a separate video of that if you want kind of a deeper dive into it, a demo of how I like to use stick products. I will link that down in the description below. But since picking that up and making that video, I wanted to try some of the other formulas in the collection, specifically the lips. I have only ever tried the matte lips from that collection, but have since tried a lot more. Actually, no. A lot more. So I will list all of these down below. I have the Royal Vixen set. This is a soft and smoky palette that I just talked about before from Melissa Alatorre. Sunset Strip, which is full of gorgeous neutrals, and then Boho Babe, which is again more on the neutral side, but again it just has that mixture of different formulas that I wanted to try. And I am also wearing one of the lip shades today. It's in the shade Vintage. And part of the reason why I love these sets specifically, and I picked them up as opposed to the individuals, is because they are such a good deal in my opinion. And actually, I mean, per unit of product, it is literally a steal. The sticks you get in here are nearly full size. One of these sets retails for $59, I want to say, not on sale. And a full size stick product retails for like a little over 20 bucks 20 bucks a piece. And so inside most of these, you will get between 4 and 5 sticks of product. So it ends up being a really great deal if you get in on one of these sets. And it also allows you to try a wide variety of different types of sticks and formulas. At least that's how I'm justifying this mess I got myself into. Next, let's talk about some picks from Pat McGrath. This in general is a great brand to check out during one of these sales because in case you're not familiar with it, Pat McGrath is a makeup artist. She makes these incredible products, but they do tend to come with a higher price tag. For that, I think you get more expensive, luxurious feeling packaging, you get more product per eyeshadow pan, and she really comes out with these beautiful, innovative shades and finishes. But having that extra 20 to 15% off can really help make that price tag less intimidating. So I have some recommendations from her, and I actually also have a product that I wouldn't recommend so much, but first let's talk about those that I would. The Mothership palettes. I actually now have 2 different Mothership palettes, the first of which I bought in a VIB sale. It actually doesn't say which one this is on the back. I believe there are 4 or 5 out now at this point, but this is one that I picked up a few years back during one of the sales. It's gorgeous. It's more blue, purple, pink leaning, and you have this smokiness, neutral smoky element to it. And then the one I picked up most recently is just perfection. This is like a good, solid fall to winter, deep, shimmery neutrals, duochromes, really interesting shades in here. And this actually does have the palette name on the back. This is the Mothership 5, which is the bronze something or other. I can't remember. It's absolutely beautiful though. But in case you don't want a full-on 10-pan palette, because again, these prices can be up there, maybe you just want a sampling of a few other shades, she does have 6-pan palettes that I think retail for $60 or thereabouts. And although I don't have any of them, every time I've gone into Sephora to swatch them and look at the shade range, the quality seems consistent with these. Again, don't have them, so I can't actually compare on like a day-to-day wearable basis, but I would assume they're very similar and probably a good alternative if you don't want to invest in one of these larger palettes. Now, one of the products that I'm less in love with. I bought one of her Lip Fetish lip balms. This is just in the clear one. She does have some tinted balms. And I guess I thought this was going to be a really nice, luxurious lip conditioner. And in fact, it is just kind of a regular clear lip balm. My lips don't feel any more nourished after wearing it. In fact, I have really been loving my Lano lips, the one I got from Ulta recently for like 12 bucks. I've been wearing that like crazy and my lips have been feeling really good, even with the, you know, summer to fall swing where my lips tend to get really dry and chapped and flaky. That's been holding me over, whereas this just kind of felt like a normal balm. It's very thin. It is very shimmery, shiny, balmy, but nothing out of this world crazy, especially for the price tag. And the last 2 product recommendations I have are actually from Charlotte Tilbury, which Sephora only recently started carrying, which is why I only mention them now, although I have been using and loving these for I think almost a year at this point. First of which is the Film Star Bronze and Blush Glow. This is a take off the original Film Star Bronze and Glow, where instead of a blush, it's actually this beautiful gold tone highlighter. I really recommend that, but I have just been using this one like crazy because the shade of the bronzer, I mean, maybe I can get a good close-up of this so you can see just how far I've dipped into it, but it's such a beautiful bronzer tone on me, and the blush is really, it's a nice in-between pinky peachy blush shade, so that when I travel, no matter what color palette I'm wearing, whether it's kind of on the warmer side, the cooler side, this really adapts to anything that I'm wearing. I'm actually wearing this on my face today as well. Then I have a couple of eye picks of hers that I love, the first of which is the Color Chameleon. It's basically an eye crayon, but her colors are so rich, and even if it's a lighter shimmery shade, it's still intensely pigmented. You can apply it. I can apply it on my eyes without a primer. I don't tend to have very oily eyelids though, so if you do, I would prime if you've never used this before, but I can wear these without a primer. I don't need to set them with a shadow, and they last in place all day without creasing or fading, and the pigmentation is there. And last, if you're looking for something that is less shimmery and more intensely satin or almost metallic, depending on how you layer it up, the Eyes to Mesmerize collection is a longtime favorite of mine. For the longest time, I would wear and rave about the shade Marie Antoinette, which on me is this classic satin taupe shade, like light satin taupe shade, but then there's also this other shade that I love, which is kind of a green, an olive green called Verushka, and it is just this, I mean, like I said, it's this satin. Okay, now finally what is in my cart for this sale. The first thing, I should probably at this point just archive this down to the description bar so I'm not talking about this in every video because I literally order at least 2 cans, 3 cans, sometimes, well, who's counting? I order a few cans every time one of these sales comes around because this is an everyday must-have for me. It's the Bar Dry Shampoo Detox Dry Shampoo, but this is it's specifically the one for brunettes. So it has a brunette cast to it. You don't have to worry about getting a white cast at the base of your hair and having to like rub it in. Because that's, for as much as I love the original formula of this, I do get a white cast every time I use it unless I use my hands to really work it into the base of my scalp. And even then, I feel like it makes my roots look a lot lighter than the rest of my hair. So this totally eliminates that. Plus, it makes my hair look a little bit thicker. I have apparently an abundance of hair, but it is just very fine hair. And so this makes it look a little bit thicker. And I have tape-in extensions, and so it just covers that light sheen that I can get on those whenever my hair parts in a certain direction, depending on what kind of hair day I'm having, if you know what I'm saying. So this really takes care of a lot of things for me on a daily basis, which is why I always make sure I have at least a can on hand. Then I have my regular skincare picks, and these I probably should archive down to the description bar as well because I think I've been using these for at least a year up to this point, so I know I've talked about them quite a bit so far. They're from Drunk Elephant. The first of which is the C Ferment Day Serum. It's a vitamin C serum that I put on right after I cleanse. I love it because it helps brighten my skin, even out any discoloration or hyperpigmentation, and then when paired with an SPF, it actually improves your sun protection. Then there is my night serum, which is a chemical exfoliant. This is the TLC Framboos Glycolic Night Serum. It has 12% AHA, BHA. I find that glycolic, just my skin responds best to this kind of exfoliation, specifically this kind of chemical exfoliation. And so for the most part, this is the thing I find that keeps my skin as clear as it has been regularly, with the exception of, you know, the occasional hormonal breakout. This was my lifesaver whenever I was kind of getting these random breakouts around my temples and on my cheeks right here. This really helped regulate my skin. And then when I need a supercharged exfoliation, I go with the Baby Facial, and this is maybe the best deal from the brand Drunk Elephant, in my opinion, if you're looking for a really supercharged chemical exfoliant, because this is the only one I've ever purchased from them, and like I said, I think I've been using this for a year. You're supposed to use it for 10 minutes once a week, and I mean, I might not use it once every week, especially recently where things have just gotten kind of hectic. I might fudge a little bit, and so that is in part why it's lasted as long as it has. But still, I use 2 pumps every time I use it. Like, I'm generous with the amount of product I use, and I think I have a big face anyway, so I use a good amount of product whenever I do. And it has still lasted me a year, and I have a good amount of product in here. That said, I just want to make sure I'm not going to run out, so I will purchase the second one ever of this with this purchase. Now, I have tried some other products from Drunk Elephant that were not my favorites, so I wouldn't repurchase them. Not that I wouldn't recommend them to you, they just didn't work out for me. The first of which is the Marula Oil, and if you purchase the Baby Facial, you actually get kind of a smaller travel-sized vial or sample of the Marula Oil. It just kind of acted like a normal oil for me. Like, it wasn't any better or worse than other, maybe more affordable oils I have on hand, so just didn't feel the need to repurchase that. And then I also purchased an SPF from them because I'm still kind of trying to find my perfect daily SPF to wear under my makeup, and theirs was not it. It's very thin, kind of runny, it leaves a white cast on your skin, and it kind of burned my eyes, so that was also not good. But would otherwise totally recommend these 3 products. Now onto some products that I haven't talked about so much here on the channel. The first of which is I'm going to replace the head on my Glow Pro from Beauty Bio. Basically, this is a micro needler machine or tool. I say machine because it is actually battery powered. There's an on-off switch here, and it not only, I don't know if you can hear that, it kind of vibrates a little bit, and then it also, as you could see, has a red LED light here that's supposed to help with skin healing. But the premise of this basically is that microneedling in general is that it aerates your skin, it pokes tiny little holes in it, and it helps with product penetration and product efficacy. And I was so good about using this every night, every morning, loved the results I was seeing on my skin, but as I was packing everything away from the move, like months ago at this point, you know, it's just one of those things that got put away in a closet, and I got used to not having it in my everyday routine. Since rediscovering it though, I really like it. However, I have had this head for about a year at this point, and even though it comes with a little bottle for you to put rubbing alcohol in and sanitize it after every use, dead skin cells build up on here, the needles themselves dull, like they really recommend you change the head on this way more frequently than I have. So I figured now is a good time to repurchase one of those. For reference, this is like the facial head. They have a larger one that you can use for your body. Like I have KP and have had KP on my arm, so I have scarring from that. They recommend getting the body head for that in case you want to help minimize that kind of scarring. And then they also have an even smaller one for your eye area and then one for your lip area. Honestly, this is the one I kind of use most just because it's small enough for my eye area. I can do it on my lip area, and I can even run it down at my neck when I'm not being super lazy. And the last two things in my cart are actually fragrances, and it's so interesting. It feels like with the more I make these videos, the less I talk about makeup, especially in terms of what I'm buying, and the more I'm focused on skincare and fragrances. And I don't know if that's just because there have been so many new makeup launches that only increase every year that I just like need a break from makeup, or if I'm just ready to try something new. Not that makeup is going anywhere, I'm still clearly very obsessed. But it's just one of those things where like I haven't really ever thought about or put time into looking at or combining or thinking about fragrance. And as my skin matures, I've been more interested in finding ways to better take care of it than I have in the past. I don't know, have you noticed a shift in your purchases over the past few sales or years or whatever it is? Because this is kind of the first time that I've looked at what's in my bag, and I don't think I have a lot, if any, makeup in it, which is kind of odd. But anywho, the fragrances I have in my bag are from Tom Ford, the first of which I don't even have a full size of actually. This is a tester that I got when my mom and I were strolling around Nordstrom, which is literally always a bad idea because this is what happens. We stop by the Tom Ford counter to like play around and mix and match fragrances, which I'm kind of into. I used to be very minimal with my fragrance. I wanted something that I could just spritz on and go. But the more we started playing with it, the more I was very into the idea of playing with different mixtures as your base and then something on top of it. So basically that's what I'm working with now. This is a base that I really love. It's ombre leather. It's actually a unisex fragrance, and so it doesn't really smell all that feminine. And in fact, I was kind of turned off of it when I first smelled it because it is very, not musky. I mean, it's leathery. It smells like leather and closer to a men's fragrance without being overtly a men's fragrance. But then I wore it and I really loved how it developed on my skin. So I love that as a base especially. And then over the top, this is something that I'm actually not quite sure that I'm going to pick up, but I really do love it. And if I were to pick it up, now would be the time with the discount. But it is a limited edition fragrance that Tom Ford just launched called Lost Cherry. And before you think it's gonna smell like a lip smacker or something, it doesn't. It's actually this combination of like cherry and almond and tobacco a little bit. Like even this has more peppery or earthy, but I really love layering it over something like this ombre leather. Unfortunately, like I said, I mean, I just bought this like days ago, but it is limited edition. So I'm already dreading the day when it runs out and thinking maybe now's the time to buy a backup just in case. But there are a few other fragrances, like after I kind of started doing my research on Tom Ford, there are a few other fragrances that were supposed to be limited edition but aren't anymore. So part of me is wondering if I should just hold off because I'm sitting here with literally a full bottle of this and it's not what you'd call affordable. So I'm not quite sure on that one, but I do know that I for sure want a full size of the ombre leather, which is not limited. It is permanent to my knowledge. And it's just a really interesting and unexpected fragrance. I mean, both of them are, honestly. When I heard cherry, I thought it would be kind of sickeningly sweet, but especially the more it develops on me personally, and as I layer it over other deeper, more muskier scents, it just is a really nice counterbalance to that. So yeah, that is what is in my cart. As always, I would love to hear what's in yours. Let me know down in the comments below if you are shopping this sale. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye!